Hello, my name is Marina Shepelsky. I'm an immigration attorney in New York, and my firm is called Shepelsky Law. Our telephone number is 718-769-6352. We practice immigration law in all 50 states of the United States and the U.S. territories. Today, I'd like to discuss the process of becoming a green card holder in the United States, and that's called adjustment of status. You can adjust status to lawful permanent residence or green card holding status if you entered the United States legally with a visa and inspection, and even if you overstayed but you have a spouse who is a U.S. citizen, through that marriage you have the privilege of becoming a green card holder if you file the right forms and present the right facts and the right documents to USCIS, which is United States Citizenship and Immigration Service, as part of Department of Homeland Security. In very simple terms, this process is only for people who are here legally or at least entered legally, even if they had overstayed their status, and they have a spouse who is a U.S. citizen. If your spouse lives outside of the United States, this is impossible to file through adjustment of status. It will require something else, which is called visa consular processing, and that will require a visa. And we're not discussing that today. We're only discussing the process where both spouses are living in the United States. One is an immigrant and one is a U.S. citizen. What do you need to start the process of adjustment of status? First, you need your major identity documents. So you will need your passport. You will definitely need your I-94 entry record if you came before approximately 2013 into the United States. Both spouses will need birth certificates, any divorces, and any other changes of name or any other similar identity documents. The major documents that include also the Social Security card and any prior immigration paperwork that you already have from any prior attempts or any other visas you had in the past. In addition, the alien or immigrant spouse will need to do a medical exam with one of the civil surgeons that you can find on the website of USCIS. And the government filing fee regularly is $1,490. That's close to $1,500 as of today is February 2016. The fees may go up, but right now it's $1,490. In addition, the U.S. spouse by law has to be the sponsor of the affidavit of support. They have to support the alien spouse. And for that, we will ask you to prepare copies of your last 3 years U.S. tax returns, especially the federal tax return part, W-2s, 1099s, and current pay stubs to prove current income to show that the U.S. spouse is working right now. Sometimes the U.S. spouse doesn't have enough income and they don't have enough money to support the spouse, which is okay. In that case, we always recommend our clients get someone else to step in as a co-sponsor. This could be a family member, a friend, a colleague, or anybody who is on good terms with your family and can provide also 3 years of their federal tax returns, W-2s, 1099s for those 3 years, and current pay stubs, as well as a copy of their green card or U.S. passport to show that they have legal status in the United States. Then we prepare special biographical forms for each spouse. Each form will ask you information such as 5 years of your addresses, 5 years of your jobs, including those jobs' start and finish date and addresses. Also, we'll need to know both of the spouses' parents' names, dates of birth, and dates of any other divorces and prior marriages. Besides the family petition that we are planning to file and the green card application, we file for our clients applications for receiving work authorization or employment authorization, or work permit as it's called in simple terms, and also advanced parole, which is a travel document that under current law allows the alien spouse, even if they had overstayed prior to filing and have been out of status for a while, to travel and leave the United States while they're expecting their interview and they're waiting for the interview. So the first step is we file all this paperwork, all the forms filled out, the government fees, passport-sized photos for each spouse, and we send that all out by Federal Express to USCIS. For each application we file, USCIS will send us receipt notices. They're called notice of receipt, noting the fees, noting everybody's names and dates of birth. After that, in about 3 or 4 weeks, the alien spouse will have to do biometrics and fingerprints at a designated USCIS biometrics office. And after that, we just wait for the interview. In the New York area where I'm located, currently it takes about anywhere from 2 months to 6-7 months to get the date of the interview for the family petition and the green card application. And they're all done in one interview. So what happens at this interview? At the interview, you get to meet a USCIS officer who will question you on 2 things. The first thing is your marriage. You have to prove you're really married, not just for papers. They ask you things like where are you living, who everybody's living with, who lived where when you met your spouse, do you know their parents, do you know their family, do you have good pictures or photographs of the family, out and about in the community with friends, with family, on holidays. They check to see that you both show the community that you're married by appearing with family and friends in photographs, because otherwise, how can you prove it? And also, they check to make sure you live together under the same roof. We prepare our clients for these interviews very thoroughly. Sometimes it takes a few meetings and a few hours to go over all the questions and all the rough areas. If you've had arrests, you must bring to your interview all original certificates of disposition to show that the arrests have been finished, the cases have been closed, and hopefully there is a positive outcome. Even for some minor crimes, we've been very successful in getting people green cards. And in certain cases, if there's a bigger type of crime or more serious violation, we need to have a special petition called the waiver petition from the U.S. spouse. The second part of the interview will cover the alien spouse or the immigrant spouse's eligibility personally for the visa. I had already mentioned the crimes, so definitely we've got to talk about the crimes and any other immoral behavior, things that USCIS considers bad things that people have done in the past, owing taxes, bringing other people illegally into the United States, having been involved in terrorist activities, having had more than one marriage at the same time. Over the years, we've had all kinds of crazy things come out in interviews. Please be honest with your lawyer and tell us what's going on with you. We can definitely help you. We just need to know what's going on. I have to note, and it's very important to say, that we don't represent people who have fake marriages. If you tell me that your marriage is only for papers, if you're doing this for a friend or for money or as a favor, no attorney can represent you, because that's lying and committing fraud on the court. And if you tell us, we cannot represent you any longer. When we had filed the documents, I had already mentioned that we filed for work permit and a travel authorization called advance parole. From the date of filing, it takes USCIS about 90 days or 3 months to generate that plastic card. Most likely you'll have it before your interview, so you could start working and applying for a social security number way before your interview time comes. By the time of your interview, you should already have the plastic work permit card, and you should probably already have your social security card. In the United States, to apply for a social security card, you have to bring your passport, your birth certificate, and that plastic work permit card to your local social security card center. Not every social security issues cards, but certain offices do, and they're called the social security card centers. They will give you a social security number and send you a social security card before your interview. In most cases, people get them before the interview. So to come back to the interview, when we receive a copy of your interview notice, we'll call our client, or you might get it before us and you'll call us. We'll set up an appointment or a Skype conference or some other way to speak to each other, either by phone or in person if you're in the New York area or the tri-state area, or on Skype or on the phone. We'll definitely find a way to prepare you for your interview. You need to be prepared for this interview. First of all, we need to prepare for the questions that they ask that focus on both your family life or your couple life. How do you live in your marriage together, and all kinds of questions about your lives and your work and so on, your kids perhaps, and also the alien's visa eligibility or green card eligibility by discussing any prior issues you might have had with the law or how you entered. And very specifically, we always ask, what did you say in the U.S. consulate in your country when you got your visa? Because anything we say in the interview cannot be any different from what you said. Or if it is different, we have to explain the discrepancy, and sometimes all kinds of issues will pop out from that. So you definitely need to prepare for this interview. This is for the questions part. For the documents part, I always ask my clients right away when we're already filing the documents, to start generating joint documents, meaning documents with both spouses' name on them as early as possible. By the time you have your adjustment of status interview, you should have several joint bank statements, joint bills, and any proof of travel together, of spending money together and earning money together. Some people might have already entered a contract to buy a house together. Some people have joint children together. I will definitely need birth certificates of those kids you have with your spouse. And other paperwork, like if you purchased major items as a couple, like a couch or furniture or a computer or a trip or anything like that. If you had a wedding and you booked a wedding hall in 2 names. If you have contracts with vendors or even a plumber with 2 names, I will need all that paperwork. For the interview, we must have one set of copies for USCIS. They will take those copies from you at the interview. So to the interview, you must bring. What do you have to bring to this interview? First, all the major identity documents I had mentioned, marriage certificates, passports, birth certificates, divorces, sometimes even marriage certificates from prior marriages, and children's birth certificates. All the originals must be brought to the interview. Both spouses, if they both have state ID, they should bring their state IDs with them, and both IDs must have the same address for both spouses on them. If they don't, it's really difficult but possible to explain the difference. In addition to that, all the joint documents I had mentioned, the originals and one set of copies. Also, you must bring your family photo album with you and any other evidence or documents that you think the government will find helpful to give you the green card. All interviews are recorded. You must swear to tell the truth right in the beginning of the interview. And people who need an interpreter, depending on the state where you live, you have to check with your local field office. Some offices allow you to bring your own interpreter to the interview if the alien spouse, or sometimes even the U.S. citizen spouse, doesn't speak good English and they don't feel comfortable conducting the interview in the English language. In other places, you cannot bring your interpreter. You need to use the interpreter on the premises. Like, for example, the New York field office, the Manhattan field office, has a staff of government interpreters there. And when you come, you ask for an interpreter right at the window when you check in for your interview, and the interpreter will come within an hour, usually, to your interview place, to the floor, to the room for your officer, and will be there at the interview with you. If you don't need an interpreter, you must clearly tell when you check in for the interview, we don't need an interpreter. Many people ask me, do I need to bring a lawyer to an adjustment of status interview? After all, it's a very difficult interview, and it's definitely life-deciding, a fate-changing interview, after which hopefully you'll walk away with a green card. Some people definitely need a lawyer at the interview. People with crimes or problems or prior divorces that have gone wrong, or police record, anything like that. If you have any issues with your visas or trouble with the law, you must bring a lawyer with you. It's almost a must. Other people don't really need a lawyer. If you're well prepared, you might get away with having no lawyer. Many people also ask me, well, doesn't it look bad that I'm bringing a lawyer to the interview? I don't think it looks bad at all. It's fine. Most people nowadays bring a lawyer to their adjustment of status interview, so it's very helpful to have one. As you see, we here do a lot of adjustment of status cases. We understand all the intricate details, and it's always very helpful to have a licensed attorney, especially people who do immigration law on a regular basis. Take a look, give you a consultation on your case, especially if you have issues like arrests. Our phone number is 718-769-6352. Call Shepelsky Law at any time if you have any problems and you wish to speak to an immigration attorney about your case. We'll be very happy to help you. Have a great day.